NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing, brought to you by Coors Light. Get Coors Light pole position alerts on your cell phone. Just text RACE to 42100 to sign up. By Chrysler, we're building a new car company. Come see what we've built for you. By the U.S. Army, watch drivers battle for position on the U.S. Army Battle Cam, only on TNT's Race Buddy on NASCAR.com. And by Burger King, who reminds you to have it your way.
This is Infineon.
TNT Sports presents NASCAR. This afternoon, it's the Toyota Save Mart 350 from Infineon Raceway in Sonoma, California. It has been a beautiful week out here. Hot earlier in the week, but today, just spectacular. 75 degrees. You see the track temperature. No rain in the forecast. Hi, everybody. Bill Weber along with Wally Donneback and Kyle Petty. Thanks for having us in for the race. And before we get down to race business, if you would just allow us, Mr. Petty.
Happy Father's Day to my father, Richard Petty, obviously. And thank you very much to Montgomery Lee and Austin for calling me this morning for a change. Thank you.
I'd like to say Happy Father's Day to my dad and my father-in-law.
Happy Father's Day, Grady, and to all your dads out there, Happy Father's Day from the TNT Race family. One lesson our dads tried to teach us, play well with others. A lesson these guys might need to remember when the green flag waves.
Yeah, this is a tough racetrack because it's so hard to pass. It's gotten so competitive. There's so many good cars and so many good drivers, and there's only one or two places here that you can really pass, turn 11 being one of them. And you have to use half the racetrack to set a guy up for turn 11. So I think what you're going to see as this race develops is you're going to see a lot of people losing their patience. I think you're going to see guys using their bumper a lot more in this race than we have in the past. But the biggest thing that I found in the garage area, I think everybody is talking about, Kyle, is they're not even talking about brakes or handling or anything else like that. The biggest thing is the double file restarts. That's going to be tricky today.
And this is going to be the last time we mention double file restarts. Not. Okay? We're going to talk about it all day long because it is a big deal. This is something that they've never experienced here except once at the very beginning of the race. And these guys are always nervous at the beginning of the race. What are we going to do at the top of the hill? That's always the topic of conversation. Now it's what are we going to do at the top of the hill all day long?
And really the problem is because you get up on the top of the hill is you're trying to be careful of what's going on in the windshield, but you're looking in the mirror as much as out the windshield. Yeah. And that's when you run into somebody. Right. So that it's one of the hardest places to start a race.
It actually happened to David Rudiman in practice here yesterday. Take a look at the starting grid for this afternoon's race. And as you see, on the front row, Brian Vickers on the pole for the second week in a row. And we can only talk to these guys at certain points around the track. So you guys go ahead and take a look at the starting grid, and Wally's going to jump on the radio.
Hey, Marcos, this is Wally Donneback in the booth. Do you read me? Give it one more shot. Marcos Ambrose, this is Wally up in the booth. Do you read me?
I do, Wally.
Hey, man, I know probably not as good a view where you're sitting right now than where you would have if you had your qualifying spot. Great qualifying run. You've got a good car. You know how to get around this racetrack. What's your game plan?
Well, the game plan is just keep the fenders on it. We're going to be off strategy with some cars here early on. Just hopefully we get back on sequence before that last pit stop. But for me, look after the car, be aggressive past some guys, but you've got to look after your stuff.
Well, good luck. It's going to be a lot of fun watching you try to get back to the front. So good luck today.
Thanks, Wally, and big shout out to all the fans out there. It's going to be a great day's racing.
There you see the cars working their way around the track here in Sonoma. And we heard them talking while you were getting ready to talk to him during commercial when you talked to Marcus. We heard his crew chief telling them about some of their strategy and that the guys have a lot of respect for how much speed he has, and they know there's a fast guy at the back.
Yeah, but there's always going to be that one guy that's not going to give you the respect. And you're right. I mean, he's going to come up on a lot of guys. He's going to be able to he's going to get some cooperation at the start of this deal. But that cooperation stops the further you get into the field.
Yeah, and what else did his crew chief say? Okay, They know you're coming. You're fast. Okay, so give them a chance to get out of the way before you move them out of the way. And that was the end of that quote.
Let's go down to Larry McReynolds.
Well, Bill, with 11 races to go before this chase starts, we've got one of the tightest battles that we've ever had since the chase came into play. And when people look at road courses like here at Infineon, they know with all the things that can happen here, it can make a big difference in your point situation, one way or the other. Now, I think Marty Snyder is with a crew chief that would love to win the battle, which is this race, but he's also looking at the war, making the chase.
Yeah, Larry Mack, there certainly is a bigger picture here involved with Juan Pablo Montoya, 14th in the championship standings, 43 out of a chase spot. So, Brian Patty, do you chase race today or do you go for the win?
We chase race. You know, if you'd paid me the points for 5th this morning, I'd have left. You know, the bigger goal here is to make the chase. Obviously, it'd be great for all our partners in Target if we could win, but you know, we'll do the best we can and try to bring home a single-digit finish.
So no matter what, you're going to play it conservative all day long.
You know, I say that now, but we definitely don't make mistakes and do what we do the obvious things right, like Chip tells us every weekend, and we'll see what happens.
And Bill, as we heard Juan say earlier, they have a car that could win this race, so a lot of pressure on Brian Patty and all these crew chiefs today. What decision do you make? Do you go for the win or do you play it safe?
Marty, I'm not buying that. I mean, I'm buying it from the crew chief, but I am not buying from the driver that he is points racing today. There's no way you're going to convince me of that.
Okay, now you've got plenty of toys, Wally. You had one out earlier. Going to take a virtual lap here at Infineon Raceway and give you fans a look at this place.
Well, it's just the trickiest place on this racetrack, and this is one of them, is getting through turn 1, because the cars stack up right here in this area. And on these double file restarts, this is where you're going to see a lot of the action. You know, we talked about a couple of the places that you have to be really careful. This spot over here in turn 7, although it looks like you're coming in here straight, when you're braking, you're going to see a lot of guys' right front tires smoking here, and that's because the car's off balance. You're actually turning the car a little bit, arcing it in. All you have to do is breathe on somebody when that's happening, and you'll see cars spinning. So that's going to be another problem area on this racetrack. Probably the most important place to pass is this last corner, turn 11. This is where all the action happens, but it really starts a lot further up the racetrack. You have to start here. Your car has to be good through this section. You have to be on the guy's bumper coming through this last corner in order to pull out and make a braking pass right here. So although turn 11 is very important, it starts way up there, further up the track. Your car's got to be good there because you have to be right on somebody's tail in order to make that pass at turn 11.
Drivers very busy on this 1.99 mile track. Let's see. Couple of cars. Marcus Ambrose, we talked about him going to the back of the field for an engine change. Also the 71 car to the back of the field. And the 87 car has Scott Speed in it. Take a look at our race analysis.
Yeah, that pit window. We'll get Larry on that a little bit later, but you're going to see some guys ducking in, I think, early and hoping that they catch a caution and this thing falls their way as far as getting fuel and doing the fuel mileage thing.